To all of you, I hope that you are doing well and staying safe wherever in the cities you find yourself. To say that the past 8 weeks have been crazy would probably be an understatement. I feel like so many of us, we don't really know dates anymore. We kind of go, is it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or that one Monday a few weeks ago? But for me, in my own journey, I kind of have been linking it back to Monday, March 16th, which for me was my last what I call normal day here in Minnesota. I had my last session at Training House with Russ, where we sat down in anticipation for what was to come and started mapping out a plan, started planning for how are we going to get through this if Tokyo was still going on, which, as we probably all know at this point, the Tokyo 2020 Olympic and Paralympic Games have now been postponed to 2021. But at that point in time, we did not know that. I mapped out my plan with my coach as we had our last practice in the pool. And I came home with my husband that night and just had a moment where I realized that everything I had been fighting for broke. And it's still heart-wrenching. Like, I can't even say it without just feeling the emotion. But we look out into our society, and our society is hurting right now. But yet we have so many incredible individuals stepping up to the plate and doing their part to support their community. And to say that I am a proud member of not just Training House, but the TCO family would be an understatement through and through. These past 8 weeks, have missed dearly the individuals at Training House that I've gotten to know so closely over the years, and am proud to consider a part of this team and a part of the family as we fight for gold in Tokyo. But I know that what we're going through will pass. And over the past handful of weeks, I've heard the common phrase spoken time and time again. And it's been shared of this sentiment of what if? What if we don't go back to what life was a month or 2 months ago? What if it's forever different? What if next week doesn't bring any more progress or the following month? And there's a validity to that fear. I I understand it wholeheartedly and can respect it, and to say that I haven't had it myself would be a complete and utter lie. But I think the reality is that when we find ourselves in these moments of adversity and crisis in so many ways, when we go through the depths of trauma, we may not return to where we were prior. That just might not be in our deck of cards. But that's not to say that what lies in our future, while it still feels uncertain, is negative. I often have found myself these past few weeks going back to those emotions that I felt after I was paralyzed. I was 18 years old. It was Monday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I walked into a clinic to receive an epidural injection for back pain, and I never walked out. And for weeks and months, I yearned for January 20th, 2008. I yearned to just have my life back to what it was before that fateful day. But I quickly realized that not only was that not an option, that wasn't the direction that moved me forward. And as hard as that day was, it has brought me on the journey that I am currently on. It is what gave me the opportunity to become a Paralympic champion. It's what built me into the woman that I am today. And I would not wish what I went through as an 18-year-old girl on my worst enemy. It was horrific at times, all consuming. It took every ounce of me to fight back from it. But the reality is it's built me into who I am. And 12 years later, I can confidently say, without a single hesitation or doubt in my mind, that I have done far more on four wheels than I ever did on 2 feet. That's not to say that some days I don't grieve. Some days I get frustrated. Some days it's hard. Some days I spill something all over my lap because I hit a bump and I just want to shake my head and scream, because if I were walking, that wouldn't have happened. Some days there's still those moments. But as an entirety, I've been able to move into a future. One that on January 21st, 2008, felt terrifying. One that in those weeks and months to follow felt uncertain at best, but one that has become the biggest blessing in my life because it's allowed me to become who I was meant to be as a person. Now, when Troy read my introduction, I laughed a little bit because there's the nod to my arm injury that I went through in 2014. I had these 15 world records and all this success, and then it's like the bottom fell out of my career for 5 years. And it was hard. It still is hard. I'm on the upswing from it. But when I suffered my arm injury in 2014, I knew that based on what I learned after my paralysis, coming back into where I once wasn't an option for me. And it wasn't what I desired. When I had the honor of being a part of the Training House comeback series that they put together, one of the things I thought about so much during that was this idea of what does a comeback actually mean to me? I'd been living it for years, but I hadn't put words to it. And it became so evident that a comeback, so many of us refer to it as this idea of returning to where we once were. But a comeback for me isn't about that. It wasn't about that after my arm injury happened in 2014. Sure, did I fight for the Rio 2016 Games? Did I want to win gold more than anything in my heart? That didn't become my reality, but that's not what I was fighting for. I was fighting to become more than I'd ever been, to become a better person, a stronger athlete, a tougher competitor, to break a glass ceiling, not return to what I once did. I look to my goals and ambitions for Tokyo, and wow, are they lofty? And I'm going to be the first to admit that at this point, 4 weeks after finding out, 5 weeks after finding out about the postponement of the games, I'm pretty sure my goals just got a little bit more lofty, realizing I have an entire extra year to train. They're lofty because I don't just want to become a Paralympic gold medalist again and do what I did in 2012. I've been fighting for 8 years. And by the time I get my shake at this in Tokyo, it will be 9 years of fighting for the same dream. When tough times hit, when hardship strikes, when we find ourselves in the depths, we have to ask ourselves why. Why are we fighting? Why are we getting up every single morning and giving our best, not just for ourselves, but for our community around us? It can't just be about returning to what you once did, or you will always look backwards. You have to find a way to look forward into the future, to where you're going. Because for me, the biggest trauma in my life led me to the top of a Paralympic podium. That is far beyond anything I could have ever imagined as I laid in bed dreaming to just go back to life on January 20th, 2008, the day before I was paralyzed. I'm not trying to make light of what it is that we're going through. There's no sugarcoating it. I've been very transparent myself of, despite how tough I am and fierce I can be, I broke when my world came crashing in. The minute I saw the banner light up across my phone that the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic and Olympic Games were being postponed, I shattered. Every piece of me just wanted to break and not get back up. I sat in my closet, which to this day I still joke is my one place to have a good, long, hard cry. Just me, by myself, and feel everything I need to feel in that moment. And I felt the weight of what that meant. It wasn't just about postponing a long-awaited dream. It was about this realization that I was so excited come fall of 2020 to come home from Tokyo and have my husband and I begin the journey to start a family. I want to be a mom. And I knew how much I sacrificed in my career to do that. I know it's just a year, and we'll do it after Tokyo in 2021. We will finally get to start our family. But it's just to show that What we're facing is going to hit us in all different ways. It's going to rock our core professionally at times. It's going to hit us personally. It's going to pull on our heart. It's going to mess with our logic. And we're going to feel the whirlwind around us. We just have to give ourselves permission to feel it, no matter how tough we are. To know that it's going on, acknowledge it, and then give ourselves the chance to say, I got this, and get back up. And if we fall tomorrow, guess what we'll do? We'll get back up again. And next week, if we fall flat on our face again, because we are all learning as we go, we'll get back up. Because that's what it's about, getting back up, falling 7 times and getting up 8. Never backing down from the fight, because deep down we know why we're fighting in the first place. Resilience is a conversation that's come up in our society a lot lately. It seems so often it just feels like one of those buzzwords. And when you really think about it, the reality is the definition of resilience means to quickly recover. But I beg to differ greatly. Resilience isn't about the speed in which we recover. It's not about finding a quick fix. It's not about bouncing back immediately. It's not about bypassing the process. It's about showing up for the fight every single day, no matter how long it takes. If it takes a year, 2 years, 8 years, 9 years, it's about showing up every single day. It's about being willing to start at the complete and utter bottom and climb ourselves back up to the top, no matter how many times we have to start back over. Resilience is that combination of passion. It's that balance of having patience to allow the process to work itself out. And it's fueled by having a greater purpose, knowing why we're fighting in the first place. I can't imagine what so many of you are going through. All of us personally are feeling the depths. Many of you are parents. Many of you probably have seniors in high school, loved ones who have canceled major life events. Maybe some of you have lost out on one of those life events yourself. And then professionally, things feel scary because nobody has the full answer right now. But I do know one thing. I know that when you're priming for the greatest comeback of your career, the best thing you can have is a team in your corner. A tribe, a community of people that push you to be better and stronger every single day. Because the reality is we're not in this alone. Sure, I might have a good cry sitting in solidarity in my closet, but within moments, I've got my friendly, loving yellow lab, Sam, and my loving, supportive husband right by my side. And when I go out into the world, I have a family, and I have a coach, and I have a trainer, and I have a team, a tribe, a community who has my back. It's not about being strong and doing it yourself. It's about knowing when you're not strong enough to do it on your own. So lean on one another. Lean on your community. Lean on your family, your colleagues, your mentors, because not a single one of us is doing this alone. And it's okay to stop and give ourselves permission to have a good cry in our closet. But then we got to open that door and either walk or wheel ourselves out and start fighting and keep fighting day in and day out. So I am thinking of all of you during this time. There's so many people I wish I could see right now, but I know soon our world will come back together. For those of you that are at home, know that you are doing your part to support your communities, to help them get through this. And for those of you that are going into an office or a clinic every day, know that you are doing your part as well. It's a team. No one person is more important than the other. Everybody is doing this together. Thank you so very much for your continued support. And I cannot wait until we all get to the other side of this and get to see where this comeback will take us.